also it's really fun to watch all of those loaded people get just super frothy. Because that's really like that's the moment where you're way out over your skis. You're just like,
Yeah.
yeah, I want it, I want it, I want it.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll pay $1
Yeah.
million for it, and then
Yeah.
afterwards you probably have buyer's remorse. But the environment, the in the moment is epic.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Tonight on That Car Show, it's one of our favorite people, Kelley Blue Book's Lyn Woodward. This one's got lots of laughs and goes really, really long, as we tend to do when Lyn is on. So we split this one into 2 parts. Make sure you download both and boost our ratings. We have mixed opinions on the new Jeep Cherokee. Lyn shares her own unique take on SLATE. We give the 5th generation 4Runner some love, celebrate the surprise of the year in the Subaru Trailseeker, and bemoan how poor Polestar got the Showtime at the Apollo hook. Also, Lyn faces the Black Death with the Dream Academy as a soundtrack. It's Lyn Woodward, and it's That Car Show. Hey, it is That Car Show, and we are jazzed to have our friend, the esteemed automotive journalist Lyn Woodward, back on the show. Lyn, of course, is the lead content editor at Kelley Blue Book, where she is not afraid to tell it like it is, but also manages to do it in a way that's charming enough to not really piss anyone off, which is a true gift. Or not, you tell us, Lyn, but she's also just really good people and a true automotive enthusiast, and she is always a hell of a lot of fun to talk with. So with all that said, Lyn, welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me. You guys are so fun to talk to, and I'm sure I have pissed off some people in my time.
We'll
And we're
save that for
here to
the
hear
end.
all about it.
I don't do it intentionally, but I think here's the deal. I'll say this. I think PR people know when their products are like, yikes.
Yeah.
And you just have to say it in a diplomatic way so that they don't take offense. I think when you say, oh, this sucked, then
Yeah.
it's like, well, what?
Yeah.
What? Because someone
Right.
out there's going to like it, and
Yeah,
someone out
yeah.
there's going to want it. And so I think it's always better to be a little diplomatic.
So
Right.
Lyn, you've driven the new Jeep Cherokee?
I have driven the new Jeep Cherokee. Yes.
Yours.
I like it. No,
You liked
I like it.
You
Here's
did?
the thing. Here's the thing. The base model interior on that is the most impressive I've seen in a very long time.
In what way?
Not cheap looking, not a lot of hollow plastics,
True.
really nice textures, really nice. They use fabric on the dash on a
They
base
did.
model.
Yeah.
I thought
Really?
I was really impressed by that interior because it looked way more expensive than it was. It felt like quality. I was blown away.
Interesting.
Not-
Lindsay, have you
listen,
driven it?
There's piano black on the center console of
yeah.
a Aston Martin DB12S. There's not a stitch of piano black. I mean, maybe a teeny little bit of
Yeah.
piano black on a Cherokee. Come on.
Yeah, no, I you know what it is though? I think, do we all own an old Cherokee at one point in our lives?
I've
Or
never owned one.
aspired
You've never
to.
owned, okay.
No, I
You
came
aspired
very
to.
close
Okay.
in high school to a Grand Cherokee, gray with wood.
I had a boyfriend who had a two-door sport, the two-door
best.
sport.
Oh, yeah.
extra. Yeah.
Was it a
Yeah.
manual?
And they,
No, he wasn't
No.
that cool.
wasn't that cool?
I had
He was
two
really
friends
cool, but he
randomly,
wasn't
like,
that cool.
unrelated to each other, had the 2-door manual. And until the first one got it, I had
Amazing.
never known they existed.
Hmm.
And then the second one entered the chat. It was crazy.
Yeah,
I-
it's a cool car.
I just have such fond memories of the Cherokee, and it's kind of a sacred thing. And I was just really disappointed. I think they did what they could do with the interior design, maybe a little less inspired by the exterior. But my issue is just really how it drove. It just seems so heavy and uninspired. And, you know, starting at $41,000, it just seems like there are more compelling things out there. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I might be in a camp of one here. I've heard a lot of journalists go on and on about how much they like the new Cherokee.
I
So
had more.
I don't know.
I took more issue with the Grand Cherokee and how the Grand Cherokee drove. I thought it was really good. And here's the thing: I had a conversation with the engineers. In the conditions in which I was driving, it was a very unique experience. So I had it in sport mode, and I was going up a hill, up the snake on Mulholland.
Ah.
Oh,
Up
yeah.
the snake in sport mode and trying to the calibration of the gearing on the transmission it wasn't in manual. I just left it in automatic.
Huh.
The way that the lag was combined with the gear selection and the how high it was revving and where it was shifting gears, it was not a pleasant experience because it wouldn't rev out high enough in order for you to get to that point. That the second you got there, it was so out of whack. And I told the engineer that, and it's funny because they went out and they did it the next day, and they said to me, we replicated the problem.
Which is fantastic because then they can solve for it.
Which was great because, and listen, I said in my review, and this is one of those moments where you have a diplomatic, have a diplomatic way to say it is, I'm not sure that there are that many people who are going to be driving it in this fashion. However, if you are giving people a sport mode and you are letting them know, like, hey, you're encouraging them to drive in a sporty fashion, then it should feel really smooth under every circumstance.
Right.
That's just my thinking.
Yeah.
So that,
you didn't love the way that drove. What'd you think of the interior?
My issue with that, I thought it was good. I didn't think it was good as the base model Cherokee.
Yeah. Interesting.
Which seems crazy to me, but I do love it when people are actually concerned about giving you value for the money. And I just thought, I thought that was just such good value for your money. I can't speak to the reliability of those things.
Sure.
There's a brand new powertrain, that there is to consider. We will see how that does over time. So there's always lots to consider. And that's part of the challenge is saying, here are the things that I like, and I don't know how long this is going to last you, or how many, like Ford, how many recalls you're going to have.
Right. Like so many things right now at the Jeep Wrangler, they've recalled every Jeep Wrangler. Have you read about this?
Yes, I have. It's a lot. I do think that there's there's been this push for trying to really become more efficient and like really trying to sort of push that envelope a lot. But I think when you have those turbos and display like the displacement, and you're trying to force like a lot of power or more power into like a low displacement engine, like it's hard. It's hard to kind of manage. And I also think it's been kind of unfair to ask the car companies. They're trying to do so many different things and please so many different people that it doesn't surprise me that they're like, oh my gosh, I don't know. We didn't have time or we didn't test it fully, or this is like, we have to get this out here. And I definitely feel for those car companies too. I know this is an expensive venture. And so I understand they've got the whole spectrum of stuff that they've got to take care of. I know how confusing it is just for a person who's buying a car. How come there's so many things to choose from? Imagine an automaker trying to have to decide what are the things that I'm going to really focus my energy and my money on.
Yep.
What they do decide to focus on, like something else is not going to get the attention that they would love to give it, but they just don't have the resources to focus on everything, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing.
Business.
Yeah. It's kind of amazing anything gets built, really, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it really kind of is. And then you can understand why Toyota let something like the 4Runner go for 15 years.
Yeah.
Well, it's a success.
Exactly.
It's a huge success. We sell out of them every single year.
Yep.
People are continually buying them. It ain't broke. Like, it still has a 5-speed transmission in it, but it's a very sturdy transmission. Nothing is breaking on it. People are still loving it. It's, there's dinosaur bits on it, but I mean, that was a very, very successful vehicle for them.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's every other vehicle here in Colorado. And if it's not a 4Runner, it's a Subaru.
I mean, I will say one thing. Doug DeMuro, I don't know Doug personally, but he said one of the greatest things that I could ever hear, because I have a 5th gen 4Runner, and they were talking about what are the best like SUVs to have, and he said hands down the best SUV ever made is the 5th gen 4Runner, and I was
You're like, I win.
Yeah,
I felt
absolutely.
like a winner. I felt like I made
Yeah.
a good choice.
Yeah. When the new one was announced, there were a lot of people here in Colorado that, raced to get the last of the fifth gen, right?
Yeah.
That was the one they wanted. That was the end all be all, What are
I
you
felt
recommending to people these days in that class or other classes?
It's funny. I mean, there's so many things. Now you put me on the spot. Body on frame stuff. I mean, there's just not a whole lot left. So
Yeah.
the Forerunner and the Land Cruiser to me are really kind of the mainstays.
Mm.
I definitely think for two quite different customers, even though they seem like they're sort of similar at this point. But I think,
Yeah.
if you're looking for more rugged, more of a rugged application, then the Forerunner is definitely, I would say, very high up on the list. The Land Cruiser to me has a little bit more sophistication to it,
Yeah.
both in its drivability and its appearance, and just the sort of its general aura is, a little more overlanding than it is sort of, ruggedness. I'm more of a Land Cruiser person, and so that's kind of where I would lean. The Ford Bronco, I think, has a lot of really good things going for it. To me, on-road drivability is exceptional when it comes to that kind of vehicle. Off-road, it's also tremendous. It has a lot of great features. My only issue with it is build quality and interior noise. It's very loud in there. I don't know how long it will take for things to start rattling and making, especially if you're really just kind of hammering it off-road, how many things are going to start
Like,
shaking loose.
how quickly are you going to shake things loose? Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, the Wrangler is always sort of that mixed bag, right? It's such an animal on the trail. It's purpose built. That is what it's for. But man, driving it on road for me, especially on a road trip, it's such an exhausting experience. It's like chasing after a 2-year-old for however long you're on the road, because you're constantly monitoring the steering. You're like, it's built for off-road. And I know a lot of people buy them for on-road, and people may, skewer me for this, but I love that vehicle. I've, had a long-term one, and I've done a lot of great off-roading stuff and have had a lot of terrific adventures in it. You just have to know that that's what you're getting and that's what you want.
Yeah. Yeah. There's definitely an honesty in it, which I appreciate.
Totally.
I had one recently.
Totally. It is unabashedly what it is.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. So few cars are like that.
If money was no object and people wanted a car in that category, I would unequivocally say the Defender Octa.
Yes,
All right.
I second this
And
choice.
by money being no object, I don't just mean for buying it. I also mean for potential repairs of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I can't, again, I'm not going to speak to reliability. We always, it's like British, bad teeth. We always make the funny joke of like, electrical problems or, leaks on your Porsche, whatever it is. But that vehicle to me is tremendous. It checks off boxes you didn't even know you wanted checked off. It's nuts.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah. I'm so glad to hear you say that. I just found out we got one in the Denver press fleet. So I actually reached out to Sam Allen yesterday.
Drive the pants off that thing.
Yeah.
The funny thing is I was on the press launch, and they only let us drive in Octa mode on a prescribed course with a helmet on. And I'm like, what? First of all, you're selling this to customers. They're going to turn on Octa mode, guys. I kind of took offense at that, because then they put it out into the press fleet, and I said, what are you going to do? I'm like, you're going to make them wear a helmet, and you're going to, I had to have a person, maybe it wasn't a helmet. Maybe I just had to have I had a helmet on.
You had to have a handle.
I had to have a person sitting right seat with me. And I was like, and then on the rest of the drive, that same person was there making sure we weren't putting it in Octa mode without their permission. I was like, y'all.
Well,
it's
this
fast,
is like
but it's what, 600 horsepower?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's 600 or 700 horsepower. Like
Okay.
It's around,
it's
yeah.
It's not a
bananas.
Bugatti. I mean, it's
No, but you're doing that kind of speed on
yeah.
those kinds of roads and
Yeah.
that kind of holy smokes. I loved the sensation of that suspension though.
Yeah.
I felt like I was spinning around a top in a
Okay.
truck like
Oh,
that. I was
yeah.
like,
Yeah, yeah,
this is like a
yeah.
mid-engine sports car feeling to
Ah.
me. I was so crazy. I loved it. I thought it was great.
It's like the
I
best
thought
of
it was
all
great.
the worlds because, I
Yeah.
mean, and like I haven't gotten to drive one yet, but Davy Jones took me off-road in one
Oh,
and floored it,
sick.
and I'm
He's
sure
so
you guys
great.
I mean, he's the best. It's the weirdest experience, I think, cognitively because you're
Mhm.
seeing what you're driving over. Like, you see
Mm.
the terrain, but the sensations are not the terrain that you're going over because the suspension is so good and you're just, like,
That's
Yeah.
a great way of putting it.
suspended.
Yeah.
Like, you're
Yeah.
suspended in this lovely environment and chewing up this, challenging terrain, and you're like, "It doesn't get any better than this."
Yeah. So you can do that and then you can go get dressed up and you could go to a super swanky dinner and a
Totally.
black tie party and you still look like you do not stand out in an inappropriate
Right.
way. That's what
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
about that car. And that
Yeah.
to me has always been something that's important is how many applications can I use this in? Every car I have has
Mhm.
to have a mission, right? It's like
Yep.
I don't have things that are extra because I just don't have the garage space or the time or the money.
Right.
So for me, it's like it has to have a mission. That thing has so many missions. It's fabulous. Checks,
Right.
like I said, it checks off boxes you didn't even know you
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, the
You really
base
could
car is
have
so good.
Yeah, you really
Yes,
could
it's
have
great.
just that one, and you
Yeah,
can do
it
Yeah.
so
it
many things
it
with it.
it covers a lot of bases.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really great. Maybe this is a good segue to go into the Defender Trophy thing that I
Mhm.
did a couple of months
Yes.
ago. But you mentioned Davy Jones, and he was there because he was part
Oh,
of that whole. Um, he was part of the team that was kind of helping us put us through our paces in that
yeah.
competition, and um, it was interesting the way that they'd set it up because it was 2 days. The first day for us was really about our like strength. Like we did a ropes course. I've never done a ropes course before. They
Yeah.
checked to see if we could swim, 50 meters. We did like running, we did orienteering, we did these like weird teamwork exercises that were just like my arms just burned out so hard. And then the next day was all the driving.
Oh,
And
wow.
all the beginning on the first day, I just thought, oh, I'm screwed because this is not my jam. Driving is my
Right.
jam. Like I could smoke all these people in the driving
I
part of
bet.
it.
You're like, "Just
Um,
put me in the
and
left seat."
sure enough, like my arms just became like wet
Mhm.
noodles. And I basically let go off the ropes course. And I'm like, I don't have arms left. This is so stupid. But once we were driving, Davey was part of the driving experience part of it. And we had this cool course that we had to go through and people were saying, hey, do you want a spotter? And a lot of the guys that I was with, because we were all paired up separately, a lot of the guys I was with, they were kind of going really slow and being real. And I'm like, you don't need to go this slow. Like this truck can handle this. Like go faster.
Yeah.
You're like, "We have the
So I'm
best piece
hoping
of kit you could possibly have."
Yeah.
I know, I know. And the idea was, you don't want to scrape, you don't want it because then points
Sure.
were taken away from you if you did that on part of the course. But I also would like to think that Davey was watching and going,
Like, "This chick knows
all
what's
right,
up."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
maybe
We've
not.
we've talked about this before, but Lindsay and I at least grew up, when Land Rover dealerships had like the technical courses at every dealership and this kind
They
of thing,
had
Yep.
one
right?
in Encino that I loved. I would be like, what are those rocks
Yeah,
doing out there?
yeah,
That's so cool.
yeah. Whose idea was it to get rid of that? Because I mean, I don't know how many vehicles those damn things sold, but it was a lot.
Right.
Sold my parents on a Discovery 2 back in the day, right?
That doesn't surprise me. It's really funny because at that same the dealership is still there, and the rock thing is also the rock course is still there. It's just now it's being used by I don't know, some other company, but it's
How
still
funny.
out there.
It's been defiled by a Kia Telluride or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know who it is, but it's just, yeah, I remember that very distinctly. And they
Totally.
really did own that space, and they kind of embraced it. And the thing that I love about this Defender Trophy challenge that they're doing, which is definitely the next iteration of Camel Trophy, is they really are leaning back into that part of their heritage, as well as the abilities of that of their vehicles. And I think what a wise thing for them to do. And I truly
We have a
hope that,
visitor.
sorry, a little guest appearance. I do truly hope that it goes really well. I know that the finals are in Africa somewhere in October. We don't know where yet, and it's all it's pretty secretive at the moment. But I just love that they're doing it. They're leaning in. They're exposing to the younger generations, like this whole other, this world that they, may or may not know exists. And I'm so stoked. What a great way to celebrate your heritage.
Yep. I'm glad to see it too.
Yeah. And I love that it's, like you said, it celebrates the heritage, but it takes it to the next, like brings it into the modern times as well. And it's like, again, the best of both worlds, all the worlds. They're doing just such a good job.
And there's a huge conservation effort that goes along with it now. I think it's the Tusk Foundation, but which also I think is just really important to be able to really be able to support those kinds of things and remember the importance of, hey, we're not the only ones here. We have to leave this place better than we found it. And I do think that it's incumbent on big companies, especially car companies, in order to be able to have a voice about that and to have an opinion about that. So I just think I think it's terrific.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Plus it was really cool and fun. Although I will say in the orienteering bit, we were out in like these thick woods, and I wasn't wearing gloves like an idiot. And this one guy was in front of me, and he grabbed this bush, this like branch of something. And I thought, oh, okay, great. I'm going to do the same thing. The second I went to grab it, he said, don't grab that. And I grabbed it just as he said, don't grab that. And I still have a thorn in my finger. Ooh. That was in May. And it is now July. And this thing, I don't know what it is, but it still really hurts.
Lynn, you need to get that out.
It may be with you for a while.
But it hurts. Like, it's not just a gross bump. Like, it hurts. And, you want to know where it is? It's, when you turn the turn signal on a car, it's right on the turn signal pad.
Right.
Well, it's a good thing you don't drive cars for a living. Oh,
this is a work injury now.
Right.
Hello, workers' comp.
I want workman's comp. I want time off.
Well, that sounds like a pretty good trip, pretty good time, just the same.
Oh man, it was so cool.
Yeah.
And it was really great, the people who participated in it, right? So it wasn't all media. I think it was the only people who were media on my wave who were actually participating and doing it were me and Jeff Glucker from Motor One. And everybody else, we love Jeff. Everybody else, Jeff had a broken hand.
Yes.
That's hardcore.
He broke his fucking hand and still was like, I'm not missing that trip. He called them and he said, hey, he's like, is it cool if and they asked him, they said, can you put two hands on a steering wheel? And he said, absolutely. And they said, fine, we'd love to have you. And he said, went out
just have to put a trash bag over that cast for the 50-yard swim, right? Yeah.
That's what he did. He's like,
did he really?
It was amazing. I was like, whoa, bro, like that's so cool. But all of the other people who were there were customers, like special ops guys, like first responders, people who were just like rabid fans of the brand, owners of vintage cars, of modern cars, like all of these people. And it just kind of brought us together in this common task, and we were all kind of put together in teams, and we knew that they were going to be picking 4 people out of our 3 whole waves in order to represent the US and Canada, because they combined North America together. but boy, it was just such a great experience. I still am on a chat thread with my initial group because that's how much amazing bonding we
That's
did.
awesome.
And
That's
it was
awesome.
fantastic. And oddly enough, two guys in my group, we had little groups of, I think it was like 8 people. 2 of the guys who were in my group D are going to Africa. They made it not just to the semifinals, but they
Nice.
made it to the final trip. So I think that says something about how cool our team was.
Absolutely, right?
I'm
Teamwork,
taking 100%
teamwork, yeah.
credit for their success.
That's right.
I mean,
That's
as
okay.
you should. I don't see why you would do anything else. Yeah.
But it was great. I just thought they put together this really well-oiled machine, and it was a terrific event. It really did sort of stretch you as a person. You're physically, it was very, very challenging physically, and rightly so, because whatever it is that they're going to put you through out there, you better be able to figure it out and handle it. And I learned stuff that I just thought, oh, I didn't know how to tie ropes or didn't know how to do a lot of recovery stuff. It made me want to be better at all those things. So and I just met a ton of rad people on top of it.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. That's
amazing.
Where was that?
I think if they do, it was in BC. It was in British Columbia, just outside of Vancouver. But if they do it again next year, apply. Because any boat, listen, if I got in, and this was not you're media, so we're going to let you in. I submitted just like everybody else.
Okay,
oh, Brian Dorr was there too. So he's media guy. So he was another person who was, I think, the only other person who was media. If I'm forgetting someone, they're going to kill me. But there was also media who was just there, invited to come and observe and watch. They did not participate.
Well, that's not half as cool.
We were the idiots who participated.
That's
hey, we're right there with you.
British Columbia.
Sign us up.
See, and who knows if that's where they have the regional competition, but they're doing these competitions all over the world. Japan, Australia, Europe, like all over the place. Like they're doing them. This is a truly global event.
I'll get in and it'll be like Vail or something.
Yeah. You're like, I guess I'll just walk over in the morning.
Even if it's in your backyard.
Totally.
It would be a tremendous experience. I think
that sounds awesome.
Love it.
I'll throw my dart,
Yeah. So was it for the driving portion, because you've done rallies, you've done the Rebelle, was the driving portion similar to that kind of driving, or was it more?
No, the driving was easy. The driving wasn't even nearly that hard.
Yeah.
There were a couple of little obstacle things. Like they had one. It almost felt to me like a press trip in that way. We had tiny little, like there was a course that we had to drive, but there was like an articulation section, and then there was a water fording section where you had to kind of go through water, and then there was a thing where you had to go over do some rock crawling stuff, and it was very basic. There was a night drive too where you had to, but it was, for me anyway, and I think a lot of the other women, there were not many women on our wave. I think there were 7 women total on our wave. A lot of very accomplished drivers. And so I think the driving for the women was probably the easiest part. A lot of the other stuff was a lot of upper body strength, and I'm like, oh God, I have none of that. And so it for me, that was definitely the easiest part. And I felt, oh, okay, like I could compete on this level, like on a high level in this area of the competition.
Yeah.
No,
that makes sense.
Awesome. Lindsay, I think we got to apply.
I agree.
So where else have you been? Did I hear something about Africa?
Speaking of Africa, yeah, it's so funny because the competition is going to be in Africa. And of course I thought, oh, well, wouldn't it be funny if I got in and then I got to go to Africa twice, because I had planned a vacation this year in Africa. Of course, I said, I did not even come close to being a finalist in that competition, but I still did get to go take a vacation in Africa. And this has been one of those things where I'd been wanting to go for decades. I mean, I don't know what it is. I certainly, my people are not from Africa, maybe, centuries ago,
No, Lyn?
but I don't look very African. But it was somewhere that when anyone would speak of it, my heart just leaps like out of my chest, and I get this overwhelming sense of like like breathlessness. And I don't understand why, because I'm not like that for a lot of other countries and places that are not my home. But
you just gotta go way back, right? Way back.
I know, right? But it's
go
the
far
seed
enough
of
back.
humanity, right? I mean, to me, this is so cool that that's kind of where it all started. And
totally.
And I knew that I wanted to go on safari. I'd been to North Africa, like been to Morocco. It's definitely not the same thing.
Right.
That definitely has a lot more Arab or French influence, and it's fantastic and it's beautiful. But the terrain, the landscape looks very different as well.
Yeah.
So it's not that savanna, those plains that you have. But I just decided I would plan a trip, and oddly enough, our friend Jeff Glucker had done a very similar itinerary the year before.
That's right.
I was so jealous, and he just said, then go, like, do it. Like, stop thinking about it or talking about it, just go. And I thought, okay, fine.
Yeah.
And I had 4 friends that I said to them, I said, I'm going to tell you when it is. I'm going to tell you how much it is, and tell you when you have to be, where you have to be. Otherwise, I'm organizing the whole thing, and you just get to say I'm in or I'm out. Every single one of them instantly, before I even told them how much it was like, I'm in. And so I organized the whole trip. And I definitely made it like the trip that I wanted to go on, but I knew that would be still enjoyable. It was still affordable. We did some camping, and then we did some lodges, and we kind of got progressively more luxurious as the trip went along. So it wasn't the other way around where you're like, this is amazing. And then suddenly you're like, I smell because I haven't showered in 5 days. Why are you making me camp? And
that is definitely the correct trajectory of how to do that.
It was, and there was divine intervention for sure, because it was the trip of a lifetime.
I love that. And Jeff was such an ambassador for going there. He was talking about it when we were at the Subaru dinner after the auto show in November, and he was so generous with his pictures. And it was like, they just kept getting more, where you're like, this can't even be real. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
And that's how you feel when you're there. Yeah. That's 100% how I felt. I didn't realize, I thought everyone had this like fabulous, like huge long lens that they're getting all these like tight shots and stuff. And I thought, I couldn't believe everyone asked me what was the biggest surprise, how close you get to the animal.
Interesting. Yeah.
Really?
How close they come to your vehicles. You're driving through their, food source basically, and you're on roads, but there are elephants that will literally walk right in front of your vehicles. There monkeys were climbing on top of our car at one point.
That would be surreal.
I didn't like that so much. It was baboons. I was like, I'm not into the baboons on the car thing. I was like, because it's open. You have the safari top open.
Yeah, what were you driving?
So they were Land Cruiser. They were the 70 series Troupies.
Okay.
Ubiquitous.
Like real Land Cruisers.
Oh, yeah. These things are ubiquitous, right? Yeah. Like if you see a Land Rover, it's like super old, and it's not any company that's using it because they're not so reliable. Sorry. But the old ones. Yeah, but the Troupies, those things, they're highly customizable. So you can, they come gutted on the inside. You can put as many rows of seats in there as you want. Some people have stretched them so they can put 3 rows instead of 2 rows back behind the front row. You have the safari top that you can put on there. You can add doors on there if you don't want it to just be one kind of door on the side. And so I intentionally made it so that we could drive too, because I didn't want just someone schlepping us around. So I worked with a company who allows you basically rent these trucks from these people. We had 2 trucks because there were 5 of us. One we called Transport because you could seat 4 in it, but it also had a full kitchen in the back. It had, that's where
Oh my
we
gosh.
kept all of our stuff. It had 2 roof tents on the top of it, and we had a ground tent. So we had, you know, various sleeping arrangements. And then we had our safari truck, and we did hire a guide. And I thought, yes, I want to hire a guide because I don't want to just be chasing around wondering where everything is. I wanted someone who knew, hey, we can go see cheetahs. We have to go over here because this is usually where the cheetahs are. So we got this guide, this company called Tanzania Nature Escapes. He is, oh my gosh, 15 years in the industry, brilliant, funny. He was wonderful. He became part of our group. It almost like felt weird, like when we left him, because it was like, it's like, well, how are we leaving you here? Like, this is crazy. But we had such a great itinerary put together. And the good thing about having him was, and we had that, our safari truck was, when we were camping, we would just leave the transport truck there. We could put 6 people into the safari truck. So we had 5 of us and 1 of him. And he would drive us around so we could actually spend time and see the animals. So there wasn't one of us who was the obligated, like, okay, Lyn, it's your turn to drive and you're going to have to be like this instead of like taking it all in. It was so perfectly set up and arranged. It was magnificent. And we went to 3 different parks. We went to Tarangire, which is the densest population of elephants on the planet. Especially in the dry season, which we went in the shoulder season, and it was perfection. It was so great. Then we went from there to the Ngorongoro crater, which is way up high, you know, high on this mountain, and we saw rhinoceroses and we saw zebras, and I mean, it was just like this incredible place. It was almost primordial. Like we got there super early, and the mist was like still hanging in the mountains, and then these elephants would walk out of the mist, and you're like, what am I in prehistoric times? It was just like, it was literally like walking back in time, because well, it was like that, thousands of years ago, like when these things still roamed the earth, or, you know, however long ago.
Before we fucked it up.
Right? It's like, and thank God it's so untouched, and there's not a stitch of garbage anywhere in these parks. I mean, they take pristine care. And then we went to Serengeti for 4 days. And if you've ever, and anyone out there, if you've ever thought about doing it, save your money, maybe like put pennies and quarters away in a jar for as long as you have to, because there is something that is so magical and so beautiful about this place that I can't even describe it.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. It was fabulous. Yeah. And you know, it's funny, we learned so much about these trucks because it was really cool. We saw some of the new trucks and some of the old trucks, and our guide, God, he's so smart. He said, sometimes they just rebody the old chassis. So it makes it look like it's a new truck, but it's not a new truck. It's,
now you know.
It's all the old bits under there.
Interesting.
So have you guys know Emmy Hall?
Yeah.
I don't.
So Emmy was the first person that I saw when I landed in Paris for Le Mans last year. We're walking through the airport, literally just off the plane, and I'm like, Emmy Hall.
You have to have Emmy on this show. She's a gas. So Emmy and I were the only ones that decided to do the hot air balloon ride.
Oh, wow.
The morning hot air balloon ride. It's expensive, but it's worth it.
Is it also not terrifying, or am I just a big wimp?
No. Okay. So the most terrifying part of it, this is hilarious, is you get in with the basket on its side. Okay. And so you're kind of getting in like an astronaut, and you're sort of like this. Like you're hanging on, and your butt is like this, and your legs are up, and you're like this, and you're like, okay, here we go. And the guy like fills up the balloon, and suddenly you're uprighted like this, and then you take off. You don't go very high up. Okay. You're trying to but you're basically at treetops.
Okay, and probably not a lot of high tension power lines in Africa. At least where you were, so
not in the Serengeti.
Like if you want an air balloon in like peace and calm with a sense of zen, do it there.
Oh my gosh, it was
Yeah.
so beautiful. You saw the sun rising. It was so
Wow.
quiet. And you go up a little bit higher in some instances above the tree lines, but
Okay.
he's really like you're just trying to skim the trees because you're trying to see animals.
Sure.
So you're
Right.
Yeah.
not up there like trying to, like pass out. It was oh man, it
I
was
bet it was
fabulous.
magical.
It was
Yeah.
magical, and it's so funny because so I'll bring up Glucker one more time. He did not go on a hot air balloon. He is afraid of heights. I'm pretty afraid of heights too, but
Yeah.
there were other people in our group who were kind of on the fence. I don't know. And after Emmy and I came down, we just said to all of those people, "You blew it," because
Yeah.
that was
No pun intended.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, right. Like if you go next time, do the hot
Yeah.
air balloon thing.
Amazing. Yeah.
It does not disappoint. It's
Yeah.
worth
Well, that sounds
the
like a trip
ridiculous
of a
amount of
lifetime.
cash.
Yeah.
And then you land and you get there, they give you champagne afterwards because
Oh.
it's some French. And
Can
that's
you
just
opt
what
for it
they do.
before the ride? That might be what I need to.
You're like,
Little
just a
nudge.
skosh, and then we'll have more when we get back.
Yeah, then
That's
we'll
right.
talk.
You got to take your own.
Right.
Put it
Right.
in the hot chocolate or the coffee that they
Right.
give you.
Right.
Have a little
Right.
nippy
Right.
or
And it
something.
wouldn't be champagne, but yeah.
Right.
No,
That's
but it's not
amazing.
scary. It's really not scary.
Yeah.
The thing
Okay.
with, and this is what I've heard about being afraid of heights, it's much more acute if you're actually tethered to the ground. So if you're on a high
Ah,
bridge or you're on something where you are connected to the earth,
sure.
then that sensation happens. But if you are just kind of up in the air, then there's a very different perception going on with your brain.
Oh, interesting. You don't have a
Makes
visual
sense.
like measure reminding you how high you are.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whatever that thing is, I don't know what
Yeah.
it is.
Interesting.
But to me, it's true because I
Sure.
do not like heights. You will never find me climbing over the bridge in Sydney or something
Yeah.
ludicrous thing like
Yeah.
that. Like
Yeah.
absolutely not. That's
Yeah.
or bungee jumping off of into a gorge. Like that's definitely not my
Sure. No,
jam.
that's
But
crazy.
No.
I've hot air ballooned twice now, and it was not
Okay.
terrifying at all.
Oh, good to know.
That's
Okay.
interesting to
Okay.
hear. I know. I look at like
Yeah.
You're also
bungee
like
jumping
you're also
and
strapped in, like you're connected in, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Yeah.
oh,
not
interesting.
you're not like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna fall out.
I just
You're
better
not gonna
hang onto
do that.
this basket. Yeah.
Well,
Where's the champagne bottle?
That's
Right.
cool.
You're
No.
like, I brought
then
my
you went
rubber
back to
dog
LA.
glasses, like
And then from there, I went back to LA, and that was just. I was saying so I was with a couple of girlfriends, and then my friend Aaron and his wife Tina, and all of us, we've done a significant amount of traveling in our lives, whether it's for rally or for just regular vacation or some great press trips when you're gone and you just have this really amazing time. And I said to them, I said, this one's going to be hard to come down from.
Yeah.
yeah.
That you have to kind of have a readjustment period. But I'll say this, I mean, there was not one wrinkle, there was not one bad thing that happened. There was not one, like any of the terrible things that could, no one got malaria, no one got bit by anything. It was not buggy. The weather was perfect. All of
Wow.
our flights were on time. We even got sleep on the planes. Like it was just like, oh my gosh, people got
perfect trip.
upgrades. It was just I mean, it was just
What?
like every single thing was so marvelous. And I kept thinking to myself during this whole trip, this is such a gift.
Yeah.
And this has been a hard year for me, just a lot of stuff going on, both personally and some professionally, just the changes and things that
Yeah.
have been really challenging. And my goodness, I just felt like you're just, that end scene in The Lord of the Rings where those big, huge birds come and just pick Frodo and
Sam.
the other
Yeah.
guy, Sam, up
I've
with
never
their
seen it, Lynn, but I can.
that
What?
moment alone is so worth it. Like that moment
That's
alone
it.
is so worth it. It's this
Yeah.
bird, these huge like birds that are like eagle, but they're like
Yeah.
like 20 times the size of a normal thing, like big enough that they could in their claws pick up a little person like this.
Right. Right.
And just carry
And
them
to
off.
me, that's such a metaphor. It's
Sure.
such a metaphor for just something else, like holding you and saying, it's okay, I have
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
And
the
like-
mental, it was sort of like that mental moment of, I felt like I was being carried.
Interesting.
that
Well, it's like
weird. Maybe that's too esoteric or weird, but it felt like that. And my soul needed that.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was the
well, it's
perfect
like
place to do
I think
it.
we all need
After COVID
this.
was amazing.
Yeah.
it's like a mental or sometimes even a physical, like you have the sensation of like everything I just exhaled, like, and I didn't even realize I
Yeah.
was holding my breath. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, it's the relief of like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And just the reset, like,
Yeah.
especially like you said, especially when things have been tumultuous and whatever, and you get there. And when you were talking about like trips that are tough to come back from, I always, I've been lucky to travel a fair amount too. And anytime a trip is exceptionally, like anytime I call it reentry, like reentry into real life
Yeah.
is exceptionally hard. I'm like, I'm so grateful because that means it was an amazing trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's like
true.
you don't know that your shoulders are up here
Yeah.
until you come back and
Yep.
suddenly you think, oh, my shoulders are here.
You're like,
Yeah.
oh. So I have to ask
And
you, because I was lucky enough to follow along a little bit while you were on the trip through Instagram. And there was one video that Rebecca posted when you guys were in the tent and there were animals outside the tent.
They
Can you
weren't just
share?
animals. They were water buffalo.
Oh, wow.
Now,
Okay.
I did not think a water buffalo was all that bad. It just looks like a big, huge cow with some horns,
Sure.
right? It's just a huge cow with horns. Their nickname is the Black Death. And these cows with horns are the most vicious, like
Yeah,
outside
wow.
of like a hippopotamus, I think,
Oh.
which is like the most gnarly thing that could ever,
Yeah,
you
wow.
could ever encounter.
Right.
These things will fucking kill you. They don't want to eat you because they're herbivores. They
Interesting.
just want to, if you're in their way, they will annihilate you. So we were camping at the Ngorongoro crater. We drive up and it's this lovely like pasture of green grass, and it's gorgeous, and there's tents all over like little gumdrops, and it's just fun. We put our tent down because Rebecca and I are sleeping on the ground, and then the other two people are in the roof tent, and that's fantastic. And we get all settled in after we've made our dinner, and we go to this little cafe where we have like a little, people have a nightcap or a tea. I think I had a
Sure.
cup of tea. And we were told, okay, after 10 o'clock, you really should get into your tent, because in the way that the lions were kind of cruising around the last campground, and you kind of don't want to be out, you got to like flash your flashlight. So if you see two like eyes eating at you, you kind of got to avoid that. Well, this is a little different because this is water buffalo, and they kind of, but after 10, it's after 10 o'clock. So I think, okay, around 7, I have to go to the bathroom. And I leave this little cafe and I walk out toward the bathroom. And I've got my little headlamp, and I think, is that a water buffalo that's right in front of the bathroom? I thought it wasn't moving. And I'm like, is that a mural? Is that a mural that's on the side of the wall? I thought that's really kind of cruel and like mean to do. Is like, let's draw a buffalo on the side of this and really mess with people's minds. Yeah. And then suddenly it moved its head, and I was like, fuck. Like there's a water, but it's 7 o'clock. Like they're not supposed to be here until 10.
You have 3 hours, guys.
Really, and then they say, they're like, don't run, because that means you're food, right? So you're like, how do I get out of here? So I like,
you just moonwalking away from the water buffalo.
Like to get back to the cafe. And I went in to our guide and I said, Othman, I said, there's a water buffalo out there. And he's like, no, not yet. It's too early. He went outside. We all went outside, and the place had suddenly just been run over with water buffaloes. And we were, we were so, our eyes were just like wide open, crazed, because we had been told how brutal these things are and you do not want to mess with them. And we just thought, well, we can't even get back to our camp. Someone drove us back up to our camp. We skedaddled into our tents. I get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. And I'm like, how am I going to do that when there's this water buffaloes everywhere? That beautiful green grass that we saw, that's where they were eating all freaking night. So we get in our tent, and I'm laying there, and Rebecca is just like we're in like crazy hysterics. And all of a sudden there's like this big indentation in our little tiny, it's just this nylon fucking tent that we're being surrounded by these water buffaloes. And I think, can they smell me? Like, do they know that there's people in here?
Sure.
Well, they were so close to my head as I was lying down. I could hear the squeaking of the wet grass as they were grabbing it with their mouth and chewing on it. And I just thought, Rebecca, it's right there. Like, it's literally right there. And it was funny and terrifying.
Yeah.
Time. You know, I don't know how we slept. There was one. So the next night we moved our tent a little bit to try and be a little closer. At one point, there was like the two people in the roof tents kind of were rocking like this because one of them was like rubbing its body on the truck. they were like, could you move? Like, what are you doing?
Wow.
We were there 2 nights, and the next night it was the same deal. And we asked one of the rangers who was there, we said, are these guys, are they really, come on, are you just pulling our leg? Are they really that dangerous? He turns and he's got a long gun on him. And he's like, yeah, they're that dangerous.
Yeah.
And so it was just crazy because the way we had repositioned the light from from another bathroom was behind, and then our tent was here, and I could see the shadow of these hulking things like walking right by us.
I mean, they have the same nickname as the plague.
Right.
Yeah. The Black Death. I was like, I'm so glad that we're done with camping. I've never been happier that I survived that evening. Both of those nights, nobody died, nobody got eaten or trampled. And there was one time in the middle of the night, I thought for sure, you know how you pull this, like you put the stakes in and you like kind of tie down the tent. You stake it in, and there are those like sort of strings that go like this. And if you're not careful, you can trip over stuff. One of those water buffaloes tripped over one of those things. I thought, this thing lands on one of us, we're dead.
Yeah.
Like you'd lose your balance and you're like, whoa, splat. We would have been gone.
You can never go back, Lyn, because it'll never be that perfect trip again. You're not going to get that upgrade on the flight over, right? Like the water buffalo's going to land on you.
I saved up for that upgrade. I was intentional with that.
Oh, okay.
I was intentional with mine.
Okay.
I saved up a lot for that trip, but you know what? And I wouldn't want to try and recreate it. If I go back, I'd love to go to Kenya. I'd love to go to Botswana. I'd love to. There are other places where I would love to go and see, but Tanzania will always be very, very special.
Yeah. Well, so what was it like to drive there? Because it sounds like, you got to obviously be driven, but drive there as well. So what was that like in that environment?
It was really, I mean, it was honestly really cool. It was what you would expect, long kind of, gravelly dirt roads. There's some infrastructure there, but not, some of it's very rudimentary when you're going from park to park. And it was just kind of fun, like Baja driving, which is my favorite kind of driving.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Our vehicles were the older variety troopy. And so they were kind of rattly and a little bit, by the end of it, you're sort of like, I've got bruises all over me. Why is that? And it's because you've been kind of, bouncing around. But it was great. I mean, it was great fun. And there were moments where I would just sort of close my eyes and see the sun behind my my eyelids and just tell myself, soak it in. Don't forget this. Yeah. Don't ever forget this. And then standing when you're driving and you're driving at speed and you're able to stand up in the truck and you have that safari tent open and the wind is in your hair and you're just looking at giraffes as you drive by. And I had my earbuds in and I had a couple of like these choice songs and I can't wait to hear them again because I know it's going to take me right back to that moment in time.
Yeah.
That was special.
Yeah. What were you listening to? I'm curious. Now I want to know.
Oh my gosh. Do you guys know? So one of the songs I was listening to was the song from the Dream Academy.
Oh,
please. It was
Life in a Northern Town.
Not Life in a Northern Town, but the song from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Please, please.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
The lyric is just like, for once in my life, like, Give me what I want.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was so indicative of that time for me because I had been dreaming about this trip for so long.
I love that.
That's
love that.
amazing.
Yeah.
Perfect
You
sound.
got to have the
Please,
song that
please,
sort of
please
completes
let
the
me
experience,
get what I want.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's that like kind of magical, like whimsical. It's Ferris Bueller's Day Off when they're in the museum.
Yeah. One of the great movies, truly.
The melody is just like, it's transformative. It's beautiful.
I love that. Everything has to have a soundtrack.
Everything.
Well, now we have 2 movies that we
incredible.
have to watch or rewatch. Ryan has to watch Lord of the Rings. We all have to rewatch Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
I'm telling you, if you don't want those 2 eagles at some point when you're feeling just like at your most stressed,
They give me nightmares.
I need those things to just come pick me up and like soar over all of my problems with
Yeah. Just want to like clap twice and have them
the eagles.
grasp.
That's what I want. That's
I
what
think
I
this is
want.
like a new version of like some people will say like Jesus take the wheel. I think another option is Eagles take the wheel.
Eagles take my body. Just it was I can imagine this.
Like maybe the giant bird, it might be the band. You choose what works best for you.
Whatever. All I know is I'm good.
What other cars did you see? Like I'm envisioning like old Benz W123s, but maybe that's more North Africa. Like what's like the average person they're driving around in?
Really, the average person is driving a motorcycle. So there are a lot of motorcycles there. Gas is very expensive. And these are not rich people, and so a lot of them, if they have a vehicle at all, it's a motorbike, it's a scooter. There were a lot of trucks there, so a lot of transport vehicles that people were driving around. But there were also just a lot of older cars there. There was on our way back to the airport, we had passed something that looked to us like it was a car show that was happening. And I thought, oh man, what is that? Yeah. And there were all kinds of little modded things with the tiny little wheels that have a little camber on them and like have a kind of a coffee can muffler. Those kind of nondescript JDM cars that you're like, I don't know enough to know, like, is that an Eclipse? Is that a Lancer? Like, what is that?
Right, interesting.
But it was really neat to see that there was still, even in Arusha, there was like car culture. It was, that part was really cool too. I tried to snap some pictures. We took along some of those just Instamatic film cameras.
Oh yeah.
Which I haven't gotten the film back on it yet. So we're dying to see if any of those pictures came out. But I wish I had known about that because that would have been a really great story.
Yeah, that's cool.
But otherwise, I think it's really just, what people can manage to cobble together, and lots of like kind of roadside mechanics where we got a flat tire, we pulled over to the side of the road, we got some air in our tires, and there were these other guys that were just wrenching on cars, like right in this kind of dirt alleyway almost. And so they're very hands-on people. These are some of the loveliest people you'll ever experience in your life. Very generous. Very kind, and just like welcoming you all the time. It was really extraordinary.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I'm sold.
Fun. And then I literally came home from that, and oh no, it was right after I came home from the Defender Trophy that I literally went right into the Trinity Rally, into that Trinity Road Rally.
How was it?
That I drove the 912 in, and I had paired up with my old teammate Sedona from the Rebel. So she co-drove. She did the navigating. It was really road book stuff. There was some time, speed, distance stuff. And then there was a track day where we did some TSD on track, which was so much fun. And we won the classic class, which was amazing. We won by a lot. It was so cool.
Congratulations.
That's awesome.
Thank you. It was so fun to be with her again. And it was a really great experience. This is like a road rally. This is not a tour. This is work. It was the inaugural year. It's the same woman who organizes the Rebel, but this is just a little different. It's not all women. She does encourage that there be at least one woman in the car, which I think is great. But this thing was, we started up we started up at the Golden Gate Bridge. And we drove from there up some of the most amazing roads up to Mendocino. I don't know if you've ever taken some of those crazy roads to Mendocino.
Yep.
Just absolutely spectacular. And then we went from there over to Sonoma, and we ended on Sonoma Raceway. I got to drive my Porsche on Sonoma Raceway, which I just thought was the coolest thing. I'll always think of it as Sears Point, just because when I was living up there, it was still Sears Point. But oh my gosh, it was so great. We came in second overall on accuracy on the track, which I don't even have a Speedo on my car that works. So how we managed to do that, I have no clue. But I guess we were just kind of feeling it, and it was great. But Pennzoil was a huge sponsor of ours, which was such a high honor for me. They loved my car, and they just were so supportive, and they were a huge supporter of the event. But that the fact that they would also support me was just like, that just blows my mind that a company like that would stand behind me. And they were, oh man, they were so fantastic. They were up there competing too, which was so fun and so cool. Gosh. And every day something else like broke on the car. So at one point by the last day, every time I turned left, the horn would honk.
Oh, really?
So I had to pull the horn, like I had to disconnect the horn. And then when I first went up there, I had one windshield wiper that worked. And then this one was like, it was sort of like it was like a lame thing. By the end of it, neither of them worked. They was just like, and then they broke. So I had no windshield wipers.
So break this down. So do you know Sarah Lacey? My friend Sarah Lacey.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she's lovely. Yeah.
We love Sarah.
She's the best.
In a Chrysler Pacifica.
Well, that's my question. Like, so would you rather do it in a modern vehicle, or would you rather do it in something like the 912, which
I'd always rather do that
having
stuff
more fun
in a classic car.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to do it, I would want to do it in some beardo thing like a Pacifica.
Right?
That's the weird car, right? In that company.
It was so funny. And I was at
so
an event in the Pacific Northwest called Mudfest, and Scott Brown from Stellantis was there, and he knows Sarah, and he had helped get her into the Pacifica for the rally. So we were talking about it because it was going on when we were at Mudfest, and I'm like, this is the
Nina
most
Barlow of all people.
Yeah.
But Sarah had never rallied before, and her first teammate is Nina Barlow. Come on. Come on. That's insane. That's amazing.
That green Pacifica they were in ended up in the Denver press fleet. And so we actually got to drive that same Pacifica and we were all wildly impressed with it.
Well,
there you go.
The minivan has come a long way.
That's one of the more underrated, one of the more underrated vehicles, not just minivans, but one of the most underrated vehicles. The plug-in hybrid is even better because you can get some crazy gas mileage in that thing. Yeah. I had a long-term car my first year at Kelley Blue Book, a long-term Pacifica plug-in hybrid. At first I was like, oh, thanks guys. Give the new girl the fucking minivan.
Yeah. Right.
By the end of it, I was so impressed by that. I thought this is a great camera car.
Yeah.
Because with that hybrid motor, you kind of haul some butt in that when you're off the line because you've got a lot of instant torque there working with you. I could hypermile that thing like crazy. I mean, there was one time I got 1,000 miles because I was trying really hard to see how long I could go before having to fill up the tank. And, if you're a local person, you have, I guess it's 33 miles of electric range just in the plug-in motor. I love it.
That's awesome.
It's one of those cars probably more of us should be driving, right? You talk about checking off boxes, right? Like that's a car that probably makes the most sense for most people, right? But what else has surprised you that you've driven recently? Obviously the Octa, you're a big fan. The Pacifica surprised you. Have you driven anything else?
Yes. The RAV4 GR Sport.
I've not driven that. Lindsay, you?
It's fun.
So I drove a Woodland edition.
Okay.
I was stunned. Like
I haven't driven the Woodland, but that GR Sport's got some guts.
Really?
It's quick. It's fun. I was like, oh, holy smokes.
Yeah, you're like, wait a
If
minute.
they're going to slap GR on there, Gazoo Racing or whatever, yeah, you better make it worth. Yeah,
but it's
Yeah.
it's the PHEV, so you can only get it as a PHEV.
okay.
And it was a blast. I had
Huh.
such a good time driving it. It was like the cat's pajamas.
I think
Yeah,
that is so much fun.
really-
Like, that's one of the best things about press cars when you go in, like, either skeptical or not really having any expectations, and you get out of it going like, this was pretty fantastic. Because I feel like that
Yeah.
is even more of a than if you just go in, you know, you're like, yeah, I'm expecting it will be okay, and it blows you away.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, but I was already
Yeah.
positive about it. If you're skeptical or you don't know what to think and it blows you away, that's an even stronger review, I think.
Yeah.
The other thing that I really enjoyed was the Subaru Trailseeker.